Perfect. All right, so this is your guys' meeting. This is your opportunity to share your story. So I'd like to pass it over to Karin really quick to make a quick announcement from the public speaking side, and then we'll get.
I guess I was mute. Yeah, thanks a lot, Jackson. Thank you for kicking this off. For those of you who don't know, I am Karan Khurana. I'm a first year student at Anderson, and I am also the president of the Public Speaking Club. And I take this opportunity to welcome you all once again to this event, and thank you so much for joining us. Given the kind of mission we have in public speaking, we always want to give you a stage, a place where you can learn and practice speaking in public. And Jackson came up to me with this idea, and I was really excited to do this with him. And I really want to, give him kudos for bringing this up to this level and marketing it so well. Let's just begin without taking much time, and I would like to call out the first speaker. So, Pradnya, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. I actually put some slides together for the public speaking. Is that okay?
Yeah, I think so. Jackson, would you like to? Yeah.
Can I share screen?
Yeah, let me see. I need to make you a co-host, I think. Great. And let me know if you can share your screen.
Hi, my name is Pradnya Parulekar, and I'm an EMBA 2020. So how many of you remember where you were when you heard that we would probably be sheltering in place for a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks? I was flying back from San Jose on a flight, having visited a customer on an eerily empty plane on a very empty 405. And then I got to my street, which was pretty empty as well. I came home. My son and my parents who were watching him immediately made me go upstairs and take a Silkwood shower, and then told me that this was a serious event that was going to happen with the sequestering in place due to the issues with the coronavirus. Now, it didn't really hit me until I went to my local grocery store and I saw everything on the shelves were gone. I was like, this is serious. We're going to be at home for a really long time. No schools, no work, no socializing. This is going to be a little crazy. How am I going to manage the next 10, 20, 30 days? And what am I going to show at the end of it? How am I going to be? It was very selfish, caught up in myself. I realized work was going to change, right? We were going to go from collaboration to lunches to getting things done together to probably something like this for those of us with children. You're going to have to find some way to get your work done, either lock them up or they're going to sit on your head when you're on a conference call. It's not the end of the world because we found ways to make it work. We were going to conference call with coworkers. We're going to conference calls with business and teachers. And we're also going to conference calls with total strangers who are going to help my son further understand what it's like to be an astronaut. But it's not all bad. All this working from home, all this time when we're not commuting has given us the opportunity to find other things that are meaningful in our life. For example, I've watched a lot of concerts, free ones, where you can donate and watch your favorite bands, such as the Rolling Stones, perform a tribute. I've learned to make food from scratch, because of course, as I mentioned, everything was missing off the shelves at Ralph. And if you're gonna make all this food, you gotta find a way to burn it off. So you can do a 30-day ab challenge, as I did with many of my UCA classmates. I don't have killer abs, but I no longer have a killing back. So that's been positive. It's not just been positive for me. In fact, readership is up almost 30% over this time last year. That means Americans are reading actual books and not just listening to them because they have time. Nature has changed. National Geographic has announced that the amount of water pollution, plastic pollution, noise pollution in the ocean has decreased air down by 35%. And that's just 30 days without driving. Pet adoptions are an all-time high. That means all the shelters are almost empty. And most importantly, people are re-engaging with their family in so many different ways. It's actually allowing people to contribute to the community, contribute to themselves, and to make the world a better place. all of this is probably why I've been in a pretty good mood for the last 30 days. I can't figure it either. I haven't been outside. I haven't really had a glass of wine. I haven't really socialized with friends, but yet I'm still feeling better, probably because I'm getting a lot of rest and I'm contributing to my community. And one way I've been contributing to the community, and I would ask that you also do so too, is to find ways to help the UCLA health system. One way is I got involved with making those face shields that we are now going to launch to protect our frontline workers, as well as making a stripped down ventilator to help our patients in the UCLA health system. Both of these activities were founded by UCLA students and further progressed by other UCLA students, totally using volunteer time and donations. So all of these activities are super positive and things that I've been focusing on, and I encourage and invite all of you to find other ways to find meaning in your life. For me and my son, please stay safe and stay loved.
Perfect. Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, that was a great first one. Thank you so much, Pradnya. Let's see. So, Ray, did you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't have permanent decks, but I have some story and thoughts to tell. So I think to me, this COVID-19 situation is, I don't think there's a time worse than like this for the MBA, like the MBA experience, but there's also there's no time like more special than this period. So I was kind of like share some pros and cons for me to go through this period. Like apparently like the worst part is like I'm not going to meet my family. My family is Taiwan, and like it's ironically because like in Taiwan there's like less than 400 people are infected, but I know in American and there's over 1 million people are infected. So it's pretty, I wouldn't say it's pretty funny, but it's pretty interesting. Like I have the chance to live in the my home country, and we saw like being dangerous, but I choose to go here and study MBA in this time. And also, my internship got canceled. I was going to Google APAC, but the whole internship program is no longer exists because of COVID-19. And also, I can't go out to surf to enjoy the beach in LA, which is one of the main reasons I choose UCLA as my MBA experience. And I bought like surfboard, but I only used them twice because back to like December to January is pretty cold and also struggling in recording, but for now it's warm, but I can go out to beach and enjoy the sunshine. Yeah, but all these things are like shortcuts for the COVID-19, but I also found that something like pretty important and interesting to me. I just as Panya mentioned, I can read a lot of books. I already read like 4 or 5 books after the COVID-19, which is very impressive because I don't have any time to read books before that. And also I can because I lost my internship, so I choose to deep dive into the startups environments in the US and to discover more possibilities to learn more about like startups and new ideas instead of just getting an internship and be satisfied. And also because I have a lot of time, so I decided to cook special foods and to improve my cooking style. If you follow my Instagram, you can see all the results, and also I'm going to have like cooking session after this at 6. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's also going to be on the one Anderson. Yeah, and last, I can imagine like simple things become so much joyful. The most satisfying things for now is going to grocery shopping. So it's pretty awkward because I couldn't imagine like me before the COVID-19 can feel very happy. Like, and it's pretty interesting. So I think this COVID-19 do a lot of like damage to my personal life, but it's also do a lot of like special things to my personal life as well. So I think everyone just try to fit in this situation and enjoy, because I think world is not going to be the same as like before, even after this COVID-19. Yeah.
Great. All right. So my story, I guess, I wanted to take everyone back a few months to an experience that every MBA student knows really, really well, right? The whole process of going over your resume day after day after day, talking to people, doing informationals for God knows what reason. Like, you have no idea what you're talking about, right? Parker telling you that alternately that you either suck or that you can do better, or that you're great and that you're amazing and that you're going to get a job. And you just go through this cycle and you're talking to all these people, walking through all the steps. And you know what? At the end of it, hopefully you at least become a better person. You at least know what you're doing and you try to get a job out of it, right? And so for me, I got really lucky because I got a job offer at the end. I got it in the middle of March, and I was super excited. I took my friends out to dinner, right? Grabbed drinks. Suddenly, that income effect hit. I was paying for things that I really shouldn't have been buying, but I was just like, I have a job, I have money, great, awesome. And then coronavirus happened, and at the end of April, at the beginning of April, I got a phone call on a Friday, and the voice on the other end of the line, she was tearing up, but she just said, "Hey, we're canceling the internship." And that sucked because all of that hard work that I had put in was pretty much meaningless. All that time that I spent celebrating meant nothing because everything that I had earned, I just lost it, right? And so I literally sat outside on my stoop for about 15 minutes, just sort of head in my hands, didn't really do anything, just sort of thought about stuff. I called my sister-in-law and I called my brother. I talked with them and they were sympathetic. And one of the things that my sister-in-law said really stuck with me, which is just, you will get through this, right? This is life. And ultimately, this is just a minor hurdle. This is a minor setback. You will get through this. And that stuck with me in that moment because I was devastated and I didn't know what was going on and I didn't know what to do next. But having that North Star guiding me saying, okay, you will get through this, that picked me up and that made me say, all right, well, I know I will get through this. What do I need to do now that can get me through this? So, I mean, I mourned for a day, and then the next day I got on the phone with Parker. I started talking to people. I started cold reaching out to people on LinkedIn again. And I went through the whole process again. But this time, at least I had done it before. And so I felt way more confident doing it again. And the great thing is, this time through, in networking, I actually knew what I was doing and what I was talking about when I was talking with people, right? I actually understood what the point of these cover letters was. I actually understood that cold reaching out actually could work. And a lot again, so I got another offer recently, and I was just ecstatic again. And part of me was just remembering, like, okay, I got through it, right? Like, that's it. At the end of the day, life can hit you hard, but it's about how you pick yourself back up and learn from everything in your past to get yourself going again. And then the last thing that I want to say was that there's something that's been repeated a lot in this whole coronavirus thing. And that's this phrase of, you must be alone together, or we must be alone together. And I think that's really poignant, not only for COVID, but for our situation just as MBA students, right? Because ultimately we're all on our own paths together. And we're all on our own paths, and we need to figure out where we're going individually, but we're in it together. And it almost ties back to the share success principle, right? We're all in this together. We all are struggling together, and we just need to find a way. We may have to do it alone, but we have to find a way to come together and help each other out.
That's an amazing one. Thanks, George, for sharing this.
Thanks, George.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Really inspiring.
Yeah, George. That's awesome. I love that quote, being alone together. I think it's really, I mean, it just goes to show, like, just seeing the people on this call, I like totally resonate with that. Okay. Cool. Does anyone want to volunteer to go next? Aritra? All right.
Whew, I think these guys really set the bar very high, and those were really motivational stories. So I don't know how far mine would resonate with you guys, but yeah, still I'll just give it a shot. So mine is basically 24 hours in COVID-19, and how that changed my perspective about a few things that we take in life for granted. So just to start off with, it was during midnight that I got a call from an unknown number back in India, and I was a bit scared. I was thinking, okay, did something happen in my family, or what was there? It was from one of my previous students. So in my undergrad, I taught a lot of kids who were from underprivileged backgrounds, and now he's made it into his undergrad as well. So he called me, and apparently he was reading a lot of the news that things in the US are not going so well, and there are a lot of deaths and there are a lot of cases. So he just wanted to make sure that I was fine. And the funny part was, like, because of his background, he actually used to support his family as well. So he used to do a lot of cooking, cleaning, everything. He used to do it alone. And he understood that we were in a lockdown. So he gave me some tips, and he gave me some ideas as to how to stay positive. And when I was there in my undergrad, there was sometimes I particularly remember this one month when he did not come to our coaching classes at all, and I had to go back to his village and convince his parents that, okay, please let him come, and let him get that education. And I also paid for his no amazing to say. And then fast forward to the morning, I again got a call. Sorry. Okay. And Thomas told me about how his sister was a frontline worker. She was working in the hospitals, and he was also concerned about her. And then I was also thinking about my friends back in India who are working in hospitals, and typically the government hospitals don't have such good infrastructure. So there were these three different things and three different places of empathy, as I would call it. And we all have different kind of priorities for each other. This is when I started to discover what exactly is empathy, and how have we changed as a society. So I went to some human psychology websites, and what I figured out was empathy consists of two main parts. One is, if you share the same kind of pain and same kind of problems, you would really be sharing a lot of empathy with that person. And second one is, how well do you understand what the other person is going through. So a frontline worker would really resonate well with somebody, or maybe as someone as a family person, where we understand the pain that everyone's been. But as humanity, have we really evolved in empathy, and how are we going ahead right now? So I pulled up some stats. All of us MBA grads, we love our stats. So from 79 to 2009, in a span of 3 decades, the average human empathy has gone down by 30%, and that's a huge number. Just to think of. Like, we have become very individualistic. Like, we care about our things, our immediate environment, but at the same time, we are not that empathetic to things that happen around us on a broader scale. But again, the good news that came in is, with COVID-19 and with all of these efforts being pulled through as a community, helping in through PPEs, masks, spreading the word, even doing social distancing, which is again very important for the community as a whole, so that you don't spread the virus and you don't get it. I think these things will again maybe swing back the levels of empathy to maybe the 70s or the 60s, when people were much more empathetic, much more open to understanding each other's problems. And that's the most positive thing that I think about in this whole COVID-19 situation. So yeah, that's just a thought. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was really great. I really like the story of like your student giving back to you. I think that's like a really cool thing. Especially, I'm sure you as a teacher like feel that.
Yeah, I mean, like, when it was coming back, like after so many years, it's almost been 6 years since I haven't talked to him at all. like that was amazing.
Really cool. I think go for it, Parth.
All right, cool. Thank you all. I appreciate you pulling this together as well, Jackson. This is dope. I think I was one of those people that had a 5 o'clock meeting that I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to go to this meeting this time because I don't want to. And I think that's okay. I think this is it's definitely a weird experience, I think, for all of us. And it's been one that none of us have ever gone through before. And hopefully none of us will ever go through again. And for me, it became at such a weird time. Obviously, with the whole, we're in the middle of our MBA. I didn't think it would affect us the way it did for as long as it's going to be affecting us. And instantly, it took away a bit of my personality, or took away a bit of what I thought I brought to other people. If you guys know me, I'm like relatively social and relatively active in the community, and I really get a lot of not just like value, but I feel like I get a lot of purpose out of doing events and hanging out with people. And if I can make someone laugh once a day, then I feel like that day has been a good day. And because of COVID and because of Zoom, I haven't been able to have that. I never had that. I missed that kind of human interaction and that human element. But I started thinking about things in the first few weeks, especially. I started thinking, Parth, it's like, think about in perspective, put in perspective. There's people who are, on the front lines in hospitals. My entire family is either physicians or pharmacists, and I'm the only one in business school. They're actually at the front line working. You don't have it that bad. I have friends who had to cancel weddings. It's like, Parth, you don't have it that bad. I have friends that are seniors, they're graduating college or they're graduating high school. It's like, Parth, you don't have it that bad. Even thinking of 2020 and thinking about how it's affecting our 2021 experience, we don't have it that bad. And that's something I kept telling myself for the first few weeks. And so in response to that, I thought, all right, so what can I do? How can I remain involved? How can I continue to be, active socially and keep people together? And I started pulling together some events and, working with people on the AnderCup and with ASA on One Anderson channel and things like that. And I realized, I was running kind of a little bit ragged for a little bit. I was just rushing and running and trying to keep things quote unquote in perspective. And I had to take a minute and I had to talk to a couple of friends before I realized that perspective kind of cuts both ways. It's good to keep it in perspective that you could have, it's a good thing to have the perspective that this is not the worst thing and your problems are not the worst problems in the world. Nice, but it's important for you to appreciate that your problems do matter and that your perspective on your problems is something that is of value. Because at the end of the day, it might not be the biggest problem in the world that, we're not at Tour de Strand tomorrow, but that does matter for our personal development. It does matter for our personal growth. And I never really thought of it that way until I spoke to a couple of friends. And so I've started taking to writing in a journal, which is something I never thought I would do. I'm much more of I'd rather tell a story and yell it from the rooftop. But I took the time to kind of start writing and just writing down my feelings and my thoughts. And what I've noticed is since I started doing that, my initial pages were just questions and questions and questions, none of which I had really answers to. And it took a couple of days of writing these questions down that my mind sort of had a shift where I started being able to write down more feelings and more thoughts and answers to those questions. And I think my main message is that at the end of the day, we have to keep perspective in check. It cuts both ways, and that take time for yourself and just lean on others when you can, but lean on yourself and know that you are your own greatest support system as well.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I really like how you use the word relatively
Thanks a
active
lot.
at Anderson.
That was subliminal, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love the dichotomy between obviously people are out there suffering a lot more than I am, but at the same time, how can I help my immediate community if I can't first help myself out, So that's really cool. And then Eugene, did you want to, I think we've gone through everybody. Awesome.
What Parth was talking about, making people laugh and be social active, it really resonates with what I'm gonna talk about. So on in a lifestyle, of course I don't have to go to work. I now sit to work from home, and I actually had while I was getting ready for the MBA, for GMAT, I had to set up a small workspace in a closet to hide from kids because GMAT, a lot of practice, a lot of work. And since then, for a year, it was just kind of fun. Now I sit in the closet every day, work from here, study from here, kind of. Yeah, sometimes it gets fresh air, but rarely. But that's okay. What I want to talk about is about 1 or 2 weeks into the quarantine, after we got finals for last quarter, people were like going crazy. People were like, let's go hang out in Zoom and stuff like that. So people were really active at the beginning. And at some point, it kind of gets stalled. All right. For Zoom meetings, and Zoom meetings got kind of awkward or kind of like boring. People were not so interested, but the need for connection never went anywhere, right? And I know this game, this awesome party game, which is actually my favorite. And unlike all other like board games and stuff like that, it's really, really social. In this game, you don't focus on the board, on the rules. You focus only on talking to people and only on what people do. The game is called Mafia. And briefly speaking, every player gets a role, Mafia or civilian. Mafia knows each other, civilians don't know anyone. And then civilians need together to kill Mafia, right? And this is a perfect game for large parties. And there is everything. There's coordination, there is cooperation, the game strategy, deception, like all kinds of MBA skills, you know. But this game required, it was hard to play online because it required a physical deck of cards, someone to host the game. And while I was sitting there, not so much stuff to do. And then I saw how meetings in Zoom got not so exciting as they used to be. I decided to actually develop a service. Right now, you can play it. You can quickly attach it to any Zoom meeting. People go in, put their names, and then you can play. Like 30 minutes, super funny. And we were able, so we did that quickly. We started testing, and like so far we had 3 game sessions, and everyone laughs almost non-stop. It's like, it's super exciting to see how those kind of stalled meetings got into the like really fun and exciting events that people are looking forward to. Yeah, that's my story. I'll send the link for people who's interested. Yeah. Now we just launched it like to public last week. Actually, no, it's a wrong link. That's I think. We launched it last week, so it's playable. Yeah. Parth, if you want to get people laughing, again, try this.
Amazing. Nice.
Yes, before the COVID, we had plans. Yeah, a lot of plans. One of my biggest dreams for this quarter, yes, like as disregarding COVID, would be to play with Jackson. Yes, for the Bandison. Yes, I was very excited. I was training. I was like talking with Clara every day. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be a rock star. I'm gonna be the best player. It's gonna be nice. I'm gonna purchase a bass, and then I purchased $1,000 bass. Beautiful, you know. Then I'm gonna train every day because I'm gonna be the rock star with my friend Jackson. Yes, I was the basis. I was really committed, you know, to go with it. And then after 1 hour after one training session with rehearsing with the band, yes, and then the festival, I don't remember the name, in Stanford. Some
C4C.
Yes, then
Stanford weekend.
Stanford weekend, then canceled, and I was Clara, Clara, I don't believe it. Clara is my fiance. Clara, I don't believe it. My dream to become a rock star is over. You know, how can I deal with it? And then in same moment, same moment, I started to go further on my research about the COVID, and like going to read this point of empathy. Yes, like China passed through tough moments 3 months before us, and nobody was giving it then, at least around me. And then I started to, oh my gosh, if it comes to here or to my family in Brazil, it's gonna be hard. And then after just 1 week, everything was different, no classes for the semester. And my sister, she was a kind of promoted to be the first doctor to in the public hospital in Brazil to attend like suspicious cases. And my mother was really afraid to lose her job, and she lost her job a few weeks ago. But my sister got a new job. She has now two jobs in the private hospital because of the COVID. She's going to a private hospital also. So my point here is we have to balance like what we expect, about the things. Because I work for a contractor of the another public service in Brazil, but my sister got a new job. So and then I started, okay, the rock band was just, yes, everybody's passing through a lot of tougher challenges that I cannot even feel how it means. In internship, yes, I still have my internship offer, but I was like prepared to get a as George said, I was already prepared. I'm prepared, yes, to get a call. Okay, it is canceled because I don't want to crack. I don't want to crack because there's a lot of people that are pressing through like challenge that we don't even know how tough it is. We have friends that are losing, struggling to death. So my point here is like to, okay, we have to recalibrate the things, recalibrate the challenge. And I think that after that, everything's gonna pass. Yes, after, going to George's point, and then after that, we're gonna be better. We're gonna we should at least bring some learnings out of this tough moment, you know. And even though we are here at home, I can tell you that I'm calling my mother more. I have more conversation with my mother, with my father, with my sisters, with my friends in Brazil, that I wasn't having. So I'm getting I'm trying to get this kind of connections alive, and try to at least help them to have this kind of conversation that we are having here, as we are like friends for a long time. That's awesome. So that's my point. Yes, let's recalibrate the goals. And there are people like struggling, like uh, tougher challenge than us. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Alrighty. So I think the vote is in, and I'm going to pass it over to Karin to send us home.
All right. Thanks a lot, everyone. First of all, to come out and share your personal stories and inspire all of us. Now, before I begin, or before I announce the final winner, I would want to do a very small activity which will encourage the speaker the most. And this is my way to, thank and also congratulate that person. Can you all raise your left hand on the top, please? Can you raise your left hand on the top? Just tap your one finger and clap for him. Clap for the winner, him or her. Now get the second finger on, the third finger on, fourth, and all the fingers on. And let's clap for the winner. The winner for today is George He.
Hey!
Congratulations.
Yay!
Hey, George.
That was awesome.
Yeah, George,
So,
would you like to say something?
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I don't know. I don't know what more there is to say.
So George, we'll be giving you a gift card, but in addition to that gift card, to thank everyone for sharing your stories, we're also going to be giving every single one of you a gift card who shared that story. So George, you're going to get I think it's going to be what, $50 or something, and then we'll be splitting, I think, $100 across the rest of you guys. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
That's good.
Really appreciate you guys coming together, representing the Anderson community. And yeah, hope you have a great rest of your Fridays. Anything else to say, Karin?
No, that's it. I think thanks a lot for doing this. This was an amazing event, and I hope to do all both have collaborated really well. We aspire to do this one more time, or maybe on something else in the times to come. Thanks a lot, people. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a
See
lot,
you.
Thanks,
people.
guys.